So we're gonna get into now the charts. We're gonna get into Trump and Kamala. I'm gonna throw Obama in here too because a lot of the Obama campaign and Prince said throw his black ass in there because a lot of what happened with Obama got re-engineered with Trump. Steve Bannon almost shed a tear too. He's like, and when Obama eventually told people to fuck off, I said I'm inspired by that, and I'm gonna do the same back to him. when we get our guy, which is for them, their guy was Trump. Unfortunately, our guy, or who we thought was our guy, which he really wasn't our guy, wasn't really about that. Now look at this interesting thing here, before you break it down.
Whose chart is this?
This is Barack Obama's chart. Now we're talking about this weird axis of Obama campaign and Trump campaign, gang team blue, gang team red, and how they keep re-engineering things with each other, right? Because some people think in 2028, Michelle Obama may come into politics and try to run for the presidency. We'll see. But look at this.
That would be a good pick for a female president. Like, y'all have this.
If she follows the transit.
Not to sound really petty, but
and Kamala sounded like people drunk auntie. And I don't even think she was drunk. I just think because people think she's an alcoholic. I don't think she is. I think
she just have like a zany personality.
She's just a zany personality. But look at this. Look at who they're going when you're choosing your champions. Obama had a Leo sun at 12 degrees, an Aquarius ascendant. Damn, he could have been something. Especially with that Aquarius ascendant talking about the transits that were going on. And he had a Gemini moon, right? Let's go look at now Trump real quick. Their guy, right? Gemini sun, Leo ascendant, Sagittarius moon. Be more, you got to break this down. And I will also be adding in as well. With Trump and Obama, before we get to Trump and Kamala Harris, why do we keep seeing the people behind Trump and the people behind Obama do this thing of how they engineered their campaigns and how similar the engineering was?
Just a few things. They do have certain placements that are similar, so they're going to get some effects, but it will be just a bit different.
Right.
So where Obama has Lilith and a Sun in Leo, Trump has his ascendant there. And then Obama has a Gemini moon where Trump has a Sag moon. So they have some similar effects as far as in what is on the same axis and how many things are away from the first point.
Yo, you're right, because also Trump got a Taurus in his MC. And MC is like your public image, career, and all that. And Obama got Scorpio.
Yeah. So like it's the axis. So they both are fixed rising signs.
Yes, they are.
So like fixed rising signs do have a certain frequency. Now at their worst they can be very hard headed and they don't listen, but they are able to really function around because they're called the axis of vitality. So they're able to use, control, and maintain things. So it's not a horrible thing to have. Now with the Leo aspect is ruled by the sun, and the sun, it gives off energy, it gives off power. And a lot of times some of the planets that are associated with leadership will be sun. So them both having placements in sun and Leo, and it's a constellation of like the kingmaker, makes sense for them. It makes sense for them. So now the worst sometimes with Leo is that they need a lot of sometimes they need a lot of flattery, and they can sometimes have self-esteem problems, but they also can be a bit tyrannical and over the top in certain areas that can make it a bit hard to support them, you know, as you can see with both of them, because they both say really wild things to people, whether you realize it or not. Like, you know,
people didn't recognize that about Obama. He did it. Like when one of the Supreme Justices died, he said, "Good riddance," or he said some slick shit. Let me see if I can find that. he said, I guess I got to find another. You know how Prince does the impersonation of Barack Obama, but I guess I got to find another justice, court justice. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, the dude just died. So Trump is way more overt with it. but Obama say a lot of slick shit.
Yeah, the Pookie thing was slick.
Yeah, he disses. Trump overtly disses people.
He does.
Obama disses people just as much, but he's not.
Low key.
He's like a butter knife slick with it. Like he talks a lot of shit, Obama. A lot of shit talking.
Yeah. So like when you see certain stuff like that, that's not really too hard to like. I see why they picked them. They actually have, to some extent, with some of their placements, they have more in common than they don't. So
what do you think these are? Because these are all a bunch of occultists. Even Steve Bannon. You think Steve Bannon chose Trump because of his chart?
Possibly. I personally, I can't really call it, but I do know they also have like Rahu next to their sun placements. So that means that they will be the emperor or they'll be the king.
Well, okay.
They'll double down on their, I guess, royalty.
I feel like they had to be one. Let me tell you why. How did you know the focus is zooming on that? Because for the people who are behind, the people who consciously said we're going to re-engineer Obama, we're going to re-engineer what these what that side is doing, even with Cambridge Analytics and all that. How did they know that, what? Trump is going to be our guy, the figurehead, to get that done?
Okay, there's some placements you see with leadership and just overt winning. So, my opinion, you would see what Lilith is doing. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
As far as in survival,
Obama's Lilith is
in Leo. Conjunct Rahu. Right. And you go to Trump's.
Trump's Lilith is in Sagittarius. Wow.
Yeah.
They both are similar where it's next to a major wow. So his Lilith is in the same house of his sun, and then Trump's Lilith is in the same house of his moon. And for Trump, his Lilith is in the 4th house. And for Obama, it looks like his Lilith is in the 6th house. Very interesting. Also, for people who don't know what Lilith is, you want to break that down to them, be more so, make sure everybody's following along?
No, Lilith is a place of survival. Yes, one could argue it's a materialization of lunar power to some extent.
It is.
Just like how we see Venus is an accumulation of, to some extent, solar power.
It
manifests in the material realm. The moon also manifests there. So if the moon deals with survival, our basic instincts, the mind, the mother, things that we have for comfort. We also see the same thing with Lilith, but it can take more darker natures because to some extent it's a waning moon, and one could argue the moon it's dimming in light, so we're getting more darker themes that come from this as well.
And it does symbolize as a form of violence too. Remember, Lilith is about survival. Wherever it is placed, it's about beating the odds. It's a very dark energy that is harnessed correctly. Of course, you could use it for good. Like fictional characters, that's an embodiment of that. It's like Daredevil. I'm wearing the demon or the devil horns, and I'm scaring people. I'm scaring evil people and villains, but I'm really a good guy. And by day, I'm a lawyer who's basically helping the disadvantaged. Batman is another one, even though Beatmore doesn't like Batman, so I don't want her to get started on that because she'll talk about her annoyance with Batman all day. But Batman is another one. He has his BDSM outfit. He goes out there with that outfit. He plays Will They, Won't They with Catwoman, but he also tries to help the disadvantaged. So it's, when you see fictional characters harnessing that dark energy, trying to use it for good. But that's also one of the reasons why Megan Thee Stallion survived getting shot in the foot, because she had her Lilith in her first house. So that means survival of the body. Now, of course, this doesn't mean, it's bulletproof. It doesn't mean just because you have Lilith in the first house doesn't mean you're going to dodge all bullets, but it gives you a higher possibility of the body surviving than somebody who doesn't have a Lilith in the first house. But continue, be more. Any other thoughts you want to have on Lilith?
I do think to some extent it has a lot of things that are similar to like how we see Rahu in K2, but it's more. I would say like it has some aspects of like forms of materialism, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it's something there for you to learn, because Rahu and K2 I feel like are more informative in the sense that we're educated through the process, and like maybe you'll become the emperor, you know. And so some of the things like it helps in evolution. Lilith isn't about that. That's not what her point is.
I think that's why people don't understand that both Trump and Obama has a dark side.
Yeah, they do.
His Lilith is in the same house of his son, and it's in his Lilith is in Leo. So when you have the dark side of the moon, as you would say, that's rebellious. It can be violent. It can also be into things that are considered forbidden. Where do you think Obama's darkness is, since he has Lilith and Leo in, I believe, the 6th house?
It can show up with, you know, children, people he work with, lovers, stuff like that.
Swimming pools?
Oh my God.
Shut the fuck up. Because you don't know who the fuck listening to this.
You don't.
This is the CIA. No.
You don't. But yeah, it can show up with like lunar things. So it
Ariel
like,
smoke already started too, but go ahead, be more.
My God.
Let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah, like lunar principles. So like not lunar, solar principles. So you have things like medicine, music. These are things that are also ruled by the sun, because the sun can give benefic and malefic things simultaneously. So we might see that also come up to, you know, the surface.
All right, we're gonna go to another Lilith, Trump and Lilith, and then we're gonna, you know, go actually to Kamala's Lilith as well. So we have Trump's Lilith is in the 4th house, and Sagittarius is in the same house as his moon. Where does Trump's darkness show up at for you?
Sometimes fascination around like morality, law, and possibly even going to like very extremes, because Sag is a beast, so it goes from extremes of purity and like sattvic power, and then it goes to like sometimes extremities and more like beastly realms. And so you kind of see both of these things for Trump go back and forth.
I agree. It's in the 4th house as well. So it did seem like he had to survive something, even when it came to his own household, or even when it came to possibly his mother having to.
Yeah.
And then also maybe coming from an ancestry where they had to really get it through the mud
or they
to
did
survive.
Like more taboo things as well.
Right.
You know, I know they say that his family came through like brothels and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I can see that. And also remember, he also has a foreign lineage because Sagittarius is there.
Yeah.
So Trump has a foreign lineage. One of the lineage, though, he lied about because he said one of the European groups wasn't popping at that time, so they lied. Said something else. But continue on. You was about to say something else pertaining to Trump.
The only other thing I'll say is that we're using the Placidius house systems, not whole sign. So if we're using whole sign, then this would move Barack's Lilith to his 7th house, and it would move Trump's Lilith to his 5th house. With
you be more. Come on, you got to slow it down, because you know you and I talk about this a lot, but you gotta explain the difference in systems so people don't get confused.
Okay, so the difference between Placidus really does a lot with, like, I guess you can argue space and time, where a zodiac sign can still fill a house with another one there. So you can have like half of a house be occupied by Aries and the other house is occupied by Taurus. If we're using whole sign, it forces a zodiac sign to occupy a whole house. So in this case, like your ascendant, let's say if you're Trump, your ascendant Leo will all fill up into the 1st house instead of spilling back up into the 12th. I personally use both. I still get pretty accurate readings. I don't really think like that. I don't think like this is taboo. Don't 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 use this system, or don't use this technique on the system unless it just really don't work. Because that's happened. Like, you use techniques on the system and it's a fucking bust. More often than not, that has not been my experience.
Yeah, most of the systems for both of us have worked. I
Have
think
just worked.
the Uranus system has worked. The Pleiades system,
Yeah.
whole signs, Vedic.
I think it's just if
all
you
of them have
understand.
worked. You gotta just know the rules.
Yeah, like if you just understand how they're gonna act, and just like what is the highly likelihood that this maybe could manifest. But
Well,
yeah.
let's get to some of the spicy stuff though with Lilith and Sagittarius. With we have to be fair because where we went with Obama.
Huh?
I said we have to be fair because where we went with Obama, but I also feel like even though this is in his fourth house, I feel like Trump like foreign women.
He does.
Or he like women who,
Yeah, he does.
Go ahead.
No, he does. When I looked at where his Jupiter, Venus, and certain things were at and how they were aspected, they were in what would be equivalent to his second or third house, and then it goes to his 11th house, the ruler. It kind of mixes together. So I feel like he also likes, to some extent, clever women as well.
Yeah, I see because Pisces is in the seventh house, both ruled by Jupiter, and then Sag in the fourth house is also ruled by Jupiter, and then he has Capricorn in his fifth house,
Yeah.
and his Saturn is in the 11th house in Cancer.
So I think to some extent he does like them a bit clever. But it is a interesting chart.
Brittany,
I would-
Brittany said, "Fuck this nigga." She said, "What he gonna do in the next 4 years? We gonna get to that, Brittany, because I know y'all about to say, is this nigga going he's gonna cut up?"
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to you, Brittany. We'll go ahead, continue to be more with Trump's chart.
Okay, if we just gonna take that approach, we do have Uranus moving into Gemini, so that will be conjuncting his sun and Rahu. So I do see that him trying to, and from really like 2025, because I think if I remember correctly, Uranus dips into Gemini sometime next year. So, like, you're gonna see him have some changes, or there will be some unusual shocks and surprises that goes on with him around that time. I don't remember what date I said. I would probably have to pull back up my own daggone PDF, but you will see some changes with him because where his sun is. So you'll see some shocks and changes in his career and everything.
Before we get even more, dang, I didn't even look. Kamala getting left again. I
Look.
thought I had her stuff up there. Hold on, because we're gonna get to her Lilith real quick too. Kamala Harris astrology chart. And then, of course, we're going to get to Diddy and Liam Payne. 3 charges for people who was involved in the killing of Liam Payne through giving him illegal drugs, substances, and also one person leaving him dead at the scene. What took place when he allegedly committed suicide. But okay, so we have Kamala up here. And let's go down to where her Lilith is. Hold on, it's loading. Okay, it's loading, guys. Her chart, y'all see, it's just loading a little bit slow. How everybody chart pulled up fast, y'all moving it. Oh, she got Lilith in Sag too.
Yeah.
But it's in the 6th house.
Well, it will put her in her
Interesting.
7th house, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, just like her in...
For whole sign, remember.
Yeah, for whole sign. Let me
Whole
say
sign,
that.
it would be in the 7th house. But the system that I'm using right now is Placidus is in the 6th house. But
Well,
go ahead.
the Placidus one I'm using has her in the 7th, too.
Which one do you have the right one that I'm on? Where it is 9:28 p.m.?
Yeah.
Well, right here,
Let me see.
it has it for mine. It has it at her Lilith is in
What's your rating?
My rating is, let me see what rating. She got a AAA for this one. Damn, Steven Stuckley snitched on Kamala Harris. Y'all see this? Y'all better be careful for any of y'all who become famous. Look at this. Look at this snitch. Steven Stuckley.
Yeah, they do read people's stuff and send it in to
snitched on Kamala Harris chart. Give it a, because sometimes you go to certain celebrities or politicians' chart, it got a D rating. The snitch, whoever is the source is not reliable, but damn, people like to tell on Kamala Harris because she has a reliable source that gave up everything. But go ahead, B more.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. No, the other one I had was the 7th. Now, the only other way I'm going to really break this is if I really start to plug in some stuff to make sure this is correct. But
just give us a synopsis like what we did with Obama and Trump of what it would be like for her with Lilith in the 6th house in Sagittarius, and if it was whole sign in the 7th house.
So for her, again, with Lilith and Sag, it could also be about, bending laws and not necessarily following the rules either. Also going after things that would symbolize freedom for her. So maybe she feels like she needs to have freedom if it's in her 6th house from work or her daily routines and tasks.
Also climbing up the work scene through sex.
That could be a thing too.
Not calling her like a hoe, because I mean, like, a lot of politicians are hoes in general. But just saying, like, it doesn't mean it just means, like, someone who doesn't see there being an issue when they were younger of having sex at the job or co-worker, things like that.
Mm-hmm. No, that is definitely a thing. I'm also C2 of slander because 6th house is competitors and slanderers. So she could work with people that would do this because the Lord goes into her 12th house as well. So she can have people who would slander her or talk about her as well. And maybe she does the same too.
Well, Lilith in the 6th house means that behind the scenes she should have showed it, because we're in a new day and age, and actually in politics, she has a smart ass mouth.
She does.
And she probably has a lot of dark humor, but
she does.
Because she was too scared.
It also means that she could be funny, because that could be also where the zaniness is coming from, but she's like trying to be professional.
That's why it was so stupid. She had one really funny moment where they was talking about Project 2025, and she said, and they had the nerve to put that up there publicly, like. But if she would have did more of that.
Yeah, it would have been. He had like
it would have been competitive because Trump just says his jokes. He said Biden toothpick legs.
Yeah.
He said at the beach with the legs barely standing. And then Obama has sarcasms. He was just like a slick asshole sarcasm type of dry humor.
Yeah, dry.
Yeah, where he's like talking shit about people on the low. She should have showed more of it.
She should have. I actually do see that she probably could be quite humorous.
That's what her fortune is at too. Can you explain to people what fortune is in the astrology chart, and it's in the 6th house for her?
Lot of fortune depicts a focal point on the birth. It actually kind of also coexists with the quality of your birth and when you were born. It does denote a place of auspiciousness for the birth in general.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead, B1.
Where it is will really depend what it's kind of saying. I guess you can liken it to like midpoints like Rahu or Ketu of the such as. Do they also say maybe where things are going? That I think that's very close to like Rahu and Ketu. They can kind of show qualities of birth or where we have like lucky streaks or even fortunate. Or even maybe to some extent, one could argue one of the points of being born.
Yeah, it talked about also the part of fortune enhances where whatever planet
it touches,
or angle
or aspect
when
to.
It comes close to right, close to even being close to a conjunction within that planet or particular angle. So.
hers is next to her Lilith, so
I just think she was being constipated.
She was.
With her humor. Even like Shannon Sharp was boring as fuck.
It was.
Shannon should have poured her some more fucking drinks and just have been fun. You know?
Sex.
Well, you almost got me, Prince.
I know, no comment.
I was about to say something about Shannon Sharp. You almost got me. You almost got me, but I'm gonna keep it PG. I'm not gonna, talk about Shannon Sharp. I'm trying to be respectful though, Prince. I get it, we on Patreon, but Ella just coming with the hammer.
The only thing I'll also say too is because the lot of fortune, wherever you have it, it really focuses on that degree. Like that degree point is like really important because these are like calculated points from like your sun, moon, and ascendant. So like the degree point is very important as well.
We also talked to them about with the Sagittarius. There's one part degrees wise where it's the human male, and then there's the other part where it's the beast. You want to tell them about that briefly because she has it in 24 degrees. And with her Lilith, and then let me look at Trump and Sag. See, is this Trump? Yes, this is Trump. Trump has his in it looked like 5 degrees.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's actually conjunct.
What do you mean?
Like they're in the same degree, like closely conjunct. Cause like,
Oh, you talking about
like if you
the Sinistry chart?
Mm-hmm.
Sinistry charts.
That's why when you was like he likes her, I'm like no, they do like each other.
They were cool
They
with
would
each other at
actually
one
get
time. People forget he gave her a paycheck.
Yeah, he did.
Sinistry charts are where you combine people's individual charts together to see how they vibe with each other. But she probably would think that Trump is funny.
And he will probably think she's funny.
Right. But they were at war, so
It is what it is.
But she gonna probably join his cabinet. See, because she needed to stop with that shit. When I saw Kamala Harris be on The View and say, I'm gonna have Republicans in my cabinet too, I said, you just dried up progressives. You dried the coochie all up. Who wants a Republican or neocons in their progressive left movement? The fucking conservatives don't even want the neocons there anymore. You gonna repackage dead weight on the right and say you're gonna have it in your cabinet on the left? Good gracious. We also got another really good snitch here, contributor, that gave Trump a AAA rating with his astrology chart. So this is definitely Trump's astrology charts.
This is on point.
So we got some good snitches for Kamala Harris and Trump. Let me see if Obama got a AAA rating too. Let me see who told on him with his chart. Let me see. Do they have the Obama? Let me see. I don't see Obama's.
His rating?
Yeah, I don't see his rating on his. Let me see. No, I don't see it. I might probably have to look. Maybe my eyes is playing tricks on me. But let's go into why Trump won even further briefly before we get to Liam's chart and what took place with him. I know his let me see. We talked about his 10th house in career and 11th house in networks and friends. Do you want to go into that a little bit, be more?
Oh, I thought you wanted me to go back into the degree range.
Oh, of Sag?
Mm.
Go ahead, finish the degrees range then.
Oh, the only thing I was going to say is because Kamala has hers near the heart of the Scorpion or like the anti-Mars or whatever. So she could be quite stubborn. And it actually shoots her in the foot, as you could see in her race. Trump has his more in a placement where is it Warren? Because let me just get this straight. They both have them in kind of like scratchy places, technically.
Right.
But it can also like, because they both have them in the Scorpion, and they both kind of like, it's kind of like a rougher placement. But I don't necessarily, I feel like his and his degree range can be more preferential, and it can give honors, because it's like stubbornness into the point of shooting yourself in the own foot. It's kind of like a, so hers, just even just being 5 degrees over, I feel like it presents to be an issue, because she's a very strong-willed person, which can be great until it's not. It's like, I think that's because it's at 10 degrees. It's in a warring star. It's in Antares, which I think is considered Uriel.
A Taurus, yes. A Taurus is a fixed star that is definitely Uriel. What B-Moral is talking about is also considered the cherubim, where you have the cherubim in Western astrology that represents Archangel Gabriel, which is Aquarius. Then you have Uriel and Taurus, which is Scorpio. Then you have Raphael, which I believe Raphael is Leo. And then you have Taurus, which is Archangel Michael. But of course, with that's whole sign. If you do Placidus, you can also still have Gabriel in the constellations of partially in Pisces. You could have part of Michael in the Aries constellation, and then so on and so forth. But when it comes to the fixed cross, though, it's Scorpio, it's Leo, it's Aquarius, and it's Taurus. So the cherubim are also angels, that powerful angels that represent extraordinary energy when it comes to the heavens. But the cherubim can also, in the darker end of things, be called the four horsemen. Now, the four horsemen is when you take Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael, that bring judgment on human society, is talked about in a lot of religions. And, the horsemen of famine, the horsemen of this, the horsemen of that, the four horsemen of judgment. And also, judgment is within people's charts. So whatever angel blesses you with whatever gifts, if you misuse the gifts, your life can end. Or you could be imprisoned, or you can go completely broke and destitute. An example is with the Leo constellation. If you have Leo in 29 degrees and it's Archangel Raphael, if you show vengeance, you'll lose everything. But if you don't, the whole world is yours. This is what Trump has. So if Trump doesn't do revenge, he will be the most powerful man on planet Earth. If he bite into the poison apple, though, of revenge, he will lose everything. Another example is the ones who have Taurus in the degree with Archangel Michael, which means you are a fierce warrior, of course. Archangel Michael is known for being battle tested. But for that one, if you misuse that energy, you could get shot in the head. Call it a bullseye.
Yeah, the bullseye.
So the bullseye of assassination, or the bullseye of getting killed, if you misuse the powers that is granted to you by Archangel Michael. Gabriel, which is in Aquarius and Pisces, but if we follow in the fixed cross, it would be in Aquarius. And with Archangel Gabriel, he makes you very charismatic and brilliant in the arts. These are some people who are prolific writers. For example, Coltrane had it. You could be also looked at as an important religious figure. This is why Coltrane there's actually a church based off of Coltrane's music. These are people who can be deified in the arts and cross over into religious beliefs. These are people, again, who can put society into an illusion or put them to sleep within the context of their art, or their preachings. But if they misuse that particular power, they can be imprisoned or face a lot of drugs and addiction issues that is under the messenger of God, which is Archangel Gabriel. So these people, through their art, they're supposed to give heavenly messages to others through their art. And then in Taurus with Uriel, these people are fighters. These are people who sometimes, or a lot of times, are underestimated, of course, because it's in Scorpio.
Yeah.
So of
It's in the
course,
constellation of Scorpio.
so what comes with Scorpio is being underestimated, and people not betting on you. You could call it the black sheep of all the fixed cross stars, but Uriel is of genius, ingenuity, people who can see the unseen, and people who can create genius technology, also be amazing detectives and be able to solve riddles and problems that many others cannot. And of course, if with Archangel Uriel, if you misuse that particular ability that's granted, one can suffer a lot as well. So remember, just because you're given certain special treatment, I know some people be like, well, why can't I? Like some people calling what Trump has like white supremacists. No, you have black people who've been in these type of positions before as well, in history. If you fuck up, sometimes your fuck up can even last in ripple effect to other people. Some people fuck up can ruin an entire nation. So, and then the consequences of that to them is going to be huge. So it's something we talked about too, before, when we're going to continue on with our Lilith series, where Lilith in Cancer deals with someone who had betrayed their nation, their countrymen, in a previous lifetime. And now they must use the dark energy of Lilith to be a protector, or will they fall into the same trap of betraying their nation and countrymen? Lilith and Scorpio are people who, if they pass their test with Lilith and Scorpio and don't delve into great energy of debauchery, meaning people who, aren't using their powers to entrap people. Because remember, Lilith and Scorpio can deal with blackmailing. It could deal with gaining people trust and using it to your advantage. Also, sex magic and using the occult to really harm people. If Lilith and Scorpio doesn't learn to become the phoenix, the eagle, and to use it to transform into a more higher heavenly energy, then that means you have to come back and reincarnate a lot of times, because you failed one of the hardest tests for humans, is dealing with anything within Scorpio, because Scorpio means to trap people, to enslave people, or to free people. The Drake pigtails are getting tighter with each new post.
I appreciate it, because this ashwagandha kicked in and I'm already like really zenned out. That really broke it out of there. I kind of went into zombie mode.
I was kind of zenning too. It's like some weird like.
Oh yeah, are you drinking it too?
They said, Edward said, what are the gifts of Raphael again? Oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't say for Leo. Leo in the 29th degrees brings global recognition.
Yeah, as you're the king.
You're the king. You're the leader. With 29th degrees in the right house, let's say if it's in a 10th house, especially if it's in your ascendant, which is what Trump has, it means that you can be the king. But if the king seeks revenge, the king loses the world and they lose their power. That's the kick. Basically, they're telling people who have Leo ascended in the 29th degrees to trust the universe and trust the angels and trust God. If you put revenge into your own hands instead of believing in your spiritual team to take care of it for you, then you lose the power. So if he gets into office and he does anything that's crazy, something that's beyond reason, because I know some people, y'all think, well, this policy, that should be bad enough. No. It's not a simple policy like if he believes and his audience believe, okay, we're going to deport illegal immigrants, even if y'all feel that's cold-hearted. What it means is, for Leo and Ascendant, it's not about following a policy, but are you being vengeful? So if you make a decision that isn't based off justice, let's say someone is only supposed to spend 1 year in prison and you're the leader, but you didn't like what they did to you when y'all both were 18 years old, and you give that person 10 years instead, you're going to lose everything. So 29, anybody who has 29 degrees in their ascendant, you can have it all, just don't be vengeful. Drake has that ascended too, but he a dummy. Cause he gonna keep putting on them pigtails and keep being vengeful and keep losing. But funny thing, if Drake would be on top if he wasn't such a vengeful spirit. But go ahead, be more.
Whew, I'm sorry.
I almost wanted to play "Looking for Revenge" to show you how dumb this dude is. He had a whole song "Looking for Revenge." I'm like, woo, no. That's why Wyoming happened, brother. Wyoming happened because you was looking for revenge. And then, Not Like Us and all that happened because you was looking for revenge. So he gonna keep doing it, though. So things are just gonna keep getting worse for Drake. Because I know he's gonna come after LeBron and them. And it's not to say LeBron is completely projected. He has his own things and falls and stuff, but Drake should have left things in God's hands and he would have been fine, but he had to be Mr. Revenge, so it's not going to turn out well for him.